Hiki Parata.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Huri no I tō tātou whare I tēnei ahi, tēnā tātou katoa. I'm pleased to stand and take a short call on the Education Amendment Bill, second reading. This bill, I think, is somewhat underestimated by the opposition, notwithstanding their statement that they are supporting the bill. The bill reflects a couple of key tenets of this national government. The importance, the criticality of education, not only to the student themselves, to their school, to their community, but to the long-term sustainability of New Zealand. And secondly, our very keen interest in the reduction of compliance. And this bill delivers on both those concerns and interests of this national government. There are a number of important elements in this bill. Yes, I think a previous speaker said that this was kind of a tidy-up bill, and those kinds of bills are very important every now and again. And the speakers this afternoon have been talking about the two main emphases within this bill around police vetting and information matching. And so I'm going to rehearse to you the list of other elements that this bill cleans up and helps with the reduction of compliance that this government is concerned with. And then I'm going to return to the criticality of education and how the amendments in this bill contribute to raising the quality of education, which we are united in this House in being committed to. So the bill also contains a number of other changes. It retrospectively, and I'm mindful here that this is a second reading, or I might treat the House to a far more high-flying speech, but given that we've been reminded thus far, well, thank you, Mr. Hipkins. I'll do my best to live up to your expectation. The bill also contains a number of other changes. It retrospectively validates Crown payments to integrated schools in cases where there has been an invalid change of proprietor and the payment subsequently unlawful. It allows more flexibility for when triennial elections for school boards are held, because we are in the somewhat dopey situation at the moment whereby it's required that boards must hold elections every 3 years, regardless of whether the school is imminently about to close. And so we cleaned up that little nonsense in this bill, because we are indeed a very sensible government. Thank you. It allows for special schools to be accredited for NCEA and removes from them the impediment of risking being unlawful should they offer this qualification. It removes an anomaly in the Act so that private schools are able to be lawfully accredited to offer NCEA. It allows for combined establishment boards that can set up new schools. We've had some experience of this in my home area of the East Coast, where combined boards were the most sensible arrangement for schools that are spread across quite a lot of geography, very small schools, and the pool from which boards of trustees can be drawn have been similarly small. So the notion that a combined board is able to operate for a number of schools, this bill addresses that as well. It allows for more flexibility for when private schools are reviewed. Why should these private schools be denied the opportunity of scrutiny that public schools are given through the Education Review Office? It expands the existing offence provisions and sanctions relating to student allowances and loans, and ensures that we incentivise the students of today to be honest and law-abiding citizens when they borrow money to finance their education. It allows for a teacher's practising certificate to be suspended where an alleged serious misconduct is the subject of an investigation. Yet another testimony to the common sense of this government, where a teacher is being investigated for improper and potentially unlawful behaviour. Why would a school wish that teacher to be able to retain their registration? It allows the suspension of a teacher's practising certificate to be extended until the investigation of misconduct is resolved. It clarifies the definition of a playgroup. It clarifies the terms special class, special clinic, special school and special service, and it clarifies the definition of institution relating to the New Zealand Qualifications Authority provisions to improve the operational efficiency of course approvals and accreditation. So, Mr. Speaker, we can see that this bill caters to a wide range, albeit very small elements on their own, but together contribute to the integrity of the education system. And we are concerned about the integrity of the education system, including the registered status of teachers. Our colleagues on the opposition benches, one colleague in particular, Mr. Davis, damned with faint praise the approach that we are taking in this bill in respect of ensuring that teachers are registered, because Mr. Davis said that didn't contribute to the raising of student achievement or to the quality of education. But I beg to differ. All of the research that has been reported in this House consistently by the Minister of Education when she has been able to talk about our flagship policy of national standards has revolved around the quality of the teacher in the classroom, the importance of assessment, the ability to inform teaching practice by that assessment so that it is applied to improving the educational experience of the student in the classroom. So registration and ensuring that teachers are registered are directly related to quality and to our interest in national standards being offered across all schools. I'd like to correct yet another speaker on the opposition benches who seem to be willfully mistaking national standards with national testing. At no point has this government or this minister talked about national standards testing. In fact, she has been at some pains to explain that this government supports the use of current tests within schools and then applying those to national standards. Another mistake made by the opposition was to suggest that national standards were, in their focus on numeracy and literacy, meant that would preclude the teaching of the wider New Zealand curriculum. The teaching profession is known as a profession because it's expected that teachers will make informed judgments based on their own training, their own practice, their observations and the use of tools. And in so doing, will be able to make an assessment about what is best for the student involved. National standards, somewhat like, if I could reduce this to a very down-home example, when my child has an earache, I don't cut the ear off and decide how that might be treated. I look at that child as a total organic system and decide how does her general health affect her ear and how does her ear affect her health. In the same way, national standards are simply an indicator of how well the wider system is doing, but they are critical indicators because we need students
point of order.
Okay.
It is a wonderful speech, but I think the Chair knows what I'm going to refer to. If the member could only stick to the bill.
You see, I gave some tolerance to a member on her side. That's right. And then having called him in, and members should perhaps acquaint themselves, I think page 107 of Speaker's rulings is quite specific about subject material in relation to the bill. Thank you, Parada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, because I did feel strongly that my speech related to, thank you, Mr. Speaker, related to the importance of having registered teachers in the classroom and of the police vetting process to assure us thereof, because registration will assure us that teachers are quality teachers and that they are delivering the quality of teaching required within the classroom. So I fail to see how this is not directly relevant to the second reading of the bill. However, can I just remark on one other part of this bill before I sit down, and that is on the governance issue. Of recent times I've had close experience of the appointment of a commissioner to a school, and become very aware that it's not an ideological choice, as some speakers have seemed to imply, that if a person, a commissioner or a limited statutory manager, doesn't have a teaching background, then by definition they can't add quality to the governance of the school. And my direct observation is that actually, if a person comes with competence and capability and commitment to lifting the quality of the performance of the school and focusing the school on